Boom. Hey, welcome, everybody. Super, super nice to see you. Hey, I have a quick question for a bunch of you. How many of you use Zoom on a regular basis? Type in Zoom in the chat bar. Type in Zoom in the chat bar. You guys use Zoom on a regular basis? Yeah. And I don't know, Jim, did any of you guys ever have to use Zoom and then like you're managing a video and then you have a chat channel and all of a sudden, like sometimes, Danielle, the damn thing is like you're trying to find the unshare and wow, it's just wild. Hey, I'm super excited all of you are here today. My team put the link in the chat bar there. You might want to think of somebody right now and think of somebody that does not have enough money, might be a business owner struggling, that you're just like, they should be here right now. And let's invite them. Let me see who's on here. Hey, Andrew and Mike, what's happening? And another Andrew, Kimberly. Hey, if you guys could have your camera on. Hey, Judy, that's cool. There's nothing worse than talking to a little black square. I don't know about you guys, but love to see you. Hey, Patrick, nice to see you there. Chris Porton, Carolyn. Hey, we're going to have a good time here. First, we're going to be talking about sales. Now, some of you have been in my world for quite a while, and some of you might be brandy new. If you're brandy new, can you type in new in the chat bar? Type in new if you're like, this is your first time here. And this way I can see. If you've been in my world a while, type in how long you've been in my world. Because I want to make sure that I'm giving you all exactly what you need. And if it's new, I got to kind of frame things for you, because why would you listen to me? All right, we got 4 years, 7 years, few months. Hey, Jonathan, super nice to see you. Yep, my wife always wins. 38 years, 3 years, 4 years. Hey, Dana, super nice to see you today. 25. All right, so man, doesn't look like we have any real newbies here at all. 2 years. All right. Well, then since we don't have a lot of new people, I say we dig right in. First, disclaimer. Even though I have done over 500 million in sales in the last couple companies, I do want to let you know that I can't guarantee any results, right? Because pretty much I can't guarantee you're even going to do what I'm going to share tonight. I mean, it's one of my biggest pet peeves. And I don't know, I'm wondering if it's a pet peeve of you guys. First off, how many of you have employees? Type in employee in the chat bar. Do you have employees or team? How many of you have maybe a partner, business partner? Type in partner. And one of my pet peeves, I'm curious if it's yours, you could type in if it's yours too, is everybody wants so much more by seem like doing so much less. Can anybody relate to that? Yeah, I see some heads nodding. I don't know where that came from. Like my dad was about to have more, like you got to like do more, have more, not do less, have more. Now, I'm not saying work harder and not smarter. I'm just sharing that it seems like people today are more concerned about being distracted, being confused, not doing what it takes. And if you've been following me on social media, if you've been following me, I've been saying something is coming. Who wants to type in the word of what I've been saying is coming? Oh, Jim is on that. Jim is on. Oh, but Jonathan came in. Winter is coming. Now, I do want to set a little stage here about winter is coming. And the reason why I want to set a stage, and hang on one second. Jen, I just made you host. If you'll make me co-host and manage everything, please. The reason why I've been saying winter is coming, Jim, is because there's all these alignments. And if we don't talk about this alignment, we can't even get to the point of sales, because it's hard to do sales it's very hard to do sales in a state of paralysis. Do you agree? Type in agree. Is Foo Dog the dragon glass? I don't know. What is dragon glass? Is that like a crystal ball or something? Yeah, is it like the Nostradamus or something? So if you're in a state of paralysis, you're in a state of fear, you're in a state of confusion. Hey, Mary Horton, nice to see you. If you're in any of those places, it's very difficult to make sales. The other thing is your North Star is moving. Everybody's North Star is moving. No matter what your North Star is, like my North Star was, Jim, was to sell my service company. That was my North Star. And as soon as I sold it, you know, I needed to prove something. And I don't know how many of you ever sold a company, but when you sell to White Walkers, that's right, Jonathan, I got it now. We are the dragon glass for sure. So when I sold the first company, when I built the second one, I wanted to sell the second one. You know why I wanted to sell the second one, Danielle? Because lightning can strike once. Anybody can have lightning strike once. I mean, crap, somebody who, wins the lottery, lightning strikes once. When you sell a company twice, lightning doesn't strike twice. That's called skills and strategies. That's why most people, if they can't get the one thing they're doing to the next level, they always try to get something else, thinking if I do something else, that will help me avoid winter, which everybody has a winter. And let me talk about the couple types of winter. Ready, Jim? Chris Porton. First winter is the economic winter. It's the time, the season that happens. It's recessions, depressions, economic conditions. Like these are what we call winters. It's days of hibernation. Now, if you plan for hibernation and you're building things in hibernation, well, when it thaws out, you're the one with all the gold coins. So you get to, Lori, you get to win. If you go into hibernation in a cave and you didn't store any food, you didn't plan anything. This was like me. It's like I was an electrician by trade, running my own company, climbing in attics. And why don't you guys, who's business owner? Type in business owner in the chat bar real quick. Type in business owner. And what kind of business do you do? But since I was an electrician by trade, I used to say winter's coming, but winter's not the greatest season for an electrician. Like, because the human mind of people, they're not sitting there going, hey, I want to put, recessed lights and fans in my house in winter. So winter sucked for me. So now if the winter is not prepared, you starve. And so that's economic winter. Then there's, and by the way, still some people are jumping in. Hey, Wendy, and some of you, we'll keep putting the link in there. Keep tagging your friends in, because I think if you have anybody that's not has money falling out of their pocket, their ass should just get on here. I'm just being clear. We're doing this to help you, right? So now let's talk about personal winter. Personal winters can, like a storm, could come out of the blue. Did you ever was life ever going really good and then all of a sudden your car went really bad? Has that ever happened to anybody? Like all of a sudden now you have to repair your car, or life's going really good and then the roof is bad and now you need a new roof for 15, 18, 20,000. All of a sudden that's a storm. But in life, if you're not making the money you need and you're having storm after storm after storm, well, that's called individual winter. So some of you, if you're dealing with individual winter, and I did a post, people seemed to like it the other day. Judy, I don't know if they loved it. I think the ones that don't love it, they talk about me in private. Those that love it, they like it and, support it. And I was like, AI is not putting people out of business. No. People who don't want to grow is what's putting people out of business. Write this down, everybody. And my team, I got a whole team here. Everybody, my beautiful wife's here. My son, who's one of our master coaches, is here. Morgan on our team. Megan's here. So we got a whole team. I don't know if Tara jumped on to support you guys. So we'll put notes in the chat bar if you can't keep up with me, because is anybody else from New Jersey? Type where you're from. I say I'm New Jersey quick, right? New Jersey quick. And so now what happens is you have multiple of storms that come in. And I used to say this, ready? Write this down. I used to say, well, I thought what got me to where I'm at will get me to where I want to go. No. If I kept going at the rate I was going to go, I remember meeting an electrician. I don't know if any of you can relate. I remember meeting an electrician that was about, well, I was in my 25. Started my electrical company when I was 22, 23. Did it wrong for 10 years. And then scaled it from under $1 million to 32 million in a 10-year period. A lot of you guys know that. 32 million a year, but forget about the 32 million a year. How much millions did I do over the 10-year period of scaling, right? Not only did I have 165 trucks, but I remember running into an electrician that was about probably 48 years old, and I was in my early 20s, and saying to him, like, how is life going? And you know what he's telling me? He's like, my knees are bad. Everything's bad. His knees are bad. His health is bad. His business is bad. And I'm sitting there going, have any of you ever related to this? I'm sitting here going, this sounds really scary. This sounds scary, but I'm 25 or so. And I'm like thinking, I'm bulletproof. I'm strong. But then reality set in. And I want to tell you this, because I don't want sales to be just the strategy. I'm going to teach you cool sales shit. Don't worry about that. And I'm not going to teach you the voodoo stuff. If you want the voodoo and the lack of integrity and try to poke people in the eye and get them to sign something, that's not me. I don't have that. But I'll give you the stuff that I think is as much important stuff to move the needle for you guys. But I had a fear, and I don't want you to have the fear. That's why I'm doing this tonight. I mean, I stopped watching. My wife and I were eating dinner. After dinner, we eat a little bit of chocolate. We go for a bike ride. I stopped all of that to be here and serve you guys if just one of you gets the message. The message is this. In order to go from where you're at to where you want to go, everything has to change, because your winter, if you're in winter in your life and you meet winter in economic conditioning, that's what I call it. Does anybody know the word I call it? Starts with a P. Put it in. Oh, a lot of Australia here. Hey, it's called the purge. In 2008, we had a purge. Did anybody go through 2008? Type in 2008. Now, I won in 2008. Now, I'm not going to tell you I won and it was easy. Oh, no. I just got done telling my friend. I told him, welcome to 2024. The theme, the octagon. You've either been training to win or preparing to lose. I wish I could call it a different way, guys. If you have the same skills you have and you're not enhancing them, the purge is going to happen. And I want to avoid this purge. So when I say winter's coming, I'm not worried about the economic winter. I'm worried about if you're in winter in your life. And if you are, type in the chat bar. There's no judgments here. I mean, are you in a double winter? Type in 2X. If you're in a double winter. If you're in a single winter, well, guess what? We know it's coming. The whole, look, I'm not going to debate with you guys about, your political views, your left, your right, you're effing upside down. I don't care about that. What I do know is when you publicly on the news try to shoot anybody and it's public, that is not a good thing. Would you guys all agree that's not a good thing? Because the other thing I see every day is really faith-driven people. Were you ever around a faith-driven person, Danielle, and they're really believers, and then out of their mouth, hey, I'm going to curse. So if you got small children, move them aside. If you got to hold your ears, hold your ears. If it bothers you cursing at all, you probably should bounce off now. So they're really faith-driven people, and then they go like this. Fuck him, he should have got shot. I'm like, what are you talking about? You were just saying love all humans, but you're like, Trump, fuck him, let him die. I'm like, I can't even comprehend the duality of confusion that's happening there. This is what now I thought winter, Jim, was going to pick up momentum September, like really pick up. I figured we got a good 30, 45 more days. You know what? It's gone. The 45 days you had is gone right now. So I'll give you some actions, not only about sales. I want to give you, since you showed up today and a lot of people didn't, and this is just so you know, we're not giving anybody replays. If somebody wants to replay for this, it's $299. I don't give out replays no more. You know why? It's unfair to you. You made your time to come here. You put a time aside to show up. So you get the value. Here's a couple things. I'm going to give you 3 steps that all of you should consider right now. Without these 3 steps, I believe there's risk for everybody. Step number 1, you have to go with mind growth. Okay, you guys, who's ever read my book, Mind Power? Type in Mind Power in the chat bar. Okay, I got some hands up. Hey, Art's read it. Who does not have a copy of Mind Power? Put a question mark if you don't have it. Do some of you not have a copy of it? And who knows a friend that needs to read Mind Power? Okay, Kimberly, you don't have it, Christine. Okay, Kimberly, Christine, Bob, Sebastian, I'm going to put a link in the chat bar. My team's going to put it there right now for you. You could go in there and get a free copy. Okay, you could get a free copy. Why? Because I want you to read it, because that's step number 1. You're not looking for mindset. You're looking for mind power. Number two, community. Get surrounded around growth-driven, success-driven humans. What does that mean? I'm not telling you not to love your drama family that loves to tell you about every doom and gloom thing. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to no longer talk to your sister-in-law or brother-in-law. What I'm saying is, it's okay, you have your family. Make sure you're surrounded with a community of people that are driven in a direction, that don't want to settle for the settling. Can you relate? Can you type in relate in the chat bar? Can you type in relate? Because when you're around people, they don't all have to be successful, but they all have to be driven to want more. Not more. Everybody thinks when you talk about more, it's always about more money. It's not. I mean, I want to be around people that are driven for a stronger relationship. How many of you, give me a hand up if you want a stronger relationship? Hand up, stronger relationship? Yeah. Dana, congratulations. I saw your post the other day. And like, not only do you want a strong relationship, you want a growing relationship. My wife and I are together since we're 15. It's over 38 years. But that's success, right? And then there's health, and that's success. And then there is money. Like, I've shared this before. One time somebody said to me, Judy, they said, money's not everything. I said, very well said from a broke ass individual. But let me tell you what money does do. Money buys food from Whole Foods. Do you guys get that? Does anybody buy from Whole Foods? Type in Whole Foods. Like, money buys from Whole Foods. If you don't have money, you're not buying from Whole Foods. I'll just tell you right now, because, they used to call it whole check, right, Chris Ford? Whole check is what they call it, because it takes a whole check to buy some organic stuff. So let's make sure. So that's number 2. Number 1 is mind growth. And whatever you're investing in your mind growth, double it. I was just doing a call with someone today because I'm surrounded around business owners, right? After you coach 1,000 business owners and you coach over 20,000 people in the service industry, you can just imagine it's pretty rare for me not to get someone to reach out because they're in a deep, dark place and they need help. And someone was saying, I don't know how to get my team aligned. I said, you're not investing enough in personal growth. You're trying to teach, and this is why we got to set this stage. Because you know what, Mary? If you try to teach somebody a sales skill without growing their thinking, they're never going to change anything. It's a personal growth game. So number 3 is, are you investing the time, the energy, the resources in what it's going to take to change the game for you? To change. Now, if you think of the 3, the mind growth, evolve yourself, the community, I have to drive and be in people that are supportive, like that are cheering you on. Did you ever tell, like, did you ever come home one day or go to a picnic and you drive up in your new car and you're so excited about it, right? And you tell them like, oh, I got a new car. And Judy, they just shit all over it at the party. They're like, why'd you get that car? Didn't you see the new Mustang that's out there? Why didn't you get the car? Like, why didn't you get the Tesla or something? Like, well, you know, and you're just like, what the heck is going on here? So you want people that are cheering you on. And the last one is, you know, are you supporting the people in your world to grow with you? Why is our team on here? You can imagine we don't need 5 of us on here tonight. I can do it myself. Our team's on here not just to support you, so they could expand and grow. So then when my son's on a call and he's coaching another person who's going to become a decamillionaire, people are wondering at 25, how's he coaching people twice his age? Well, because he's been showing up to these things for 20 years of his life. Is this making sense? Type in makes sense, everybody. Type in makes sense. Okay. And then ask yourself, which of the 3 do you need to put more attention on right now? Which of the 3? Number 1, 2, or 3, or all 3? Tell me in the chat bar. Tell me in the chat bar. Okay, we got a lot of all 3. That's fair. Now remember, what we want to do is see when you're driven. Let me share some, change my backdrop a little bit. When you know what you're driven about, right? It's pretty easy for me to be driven because I know what I'm driven for. Do you get that? Like, oh, that's the camera loves when I get intense. I think there's an intense setting. I have to figure this out, guys, still. So bear with me on the camera, this new one I'm using, because it's when I get intense, it pulls me in deeply. Like it's attracted to me, this AI camera part. See, a lot of people say they would die for family, but they're not doing everything it takes to live for success for family. And let's be clear, this year, it takes sales to do this. Do you understand? DJ, do you get this? Do all of you get this? Andrew, you get this? Like, in order to support 165 trucks and 200 employees, you need to make effing money. You do. In order to keep supporting them, you need to make money ethically. Are you following me? Ethically, you need to make money. And if you want to, so many people in my world, they're like, oh, I want to impact the world. If you want to impact the world, you better understand how to grow yourself, because it's very hard to grow others if you're not growing yourself. And you can only grow people at the rate of speed of your own personal success. If you haven't had success and you're trying to teach somebody success, it's pretty tough, right? It's not congruent with you. And I'm only trying to share with you, like, none of these people, you see all these people here, they didn't have to sell me to work with them. Mention one of the people's names in the chat bar if you know any of the people here. Like Jay Abraham did not have to sell me to work with him. And I worked with him one-on-one for 3.5 years, which means I bought a whole lot of G-Wagons and stuff for him. Larry Wingett, right, Chris? Like, he didn't have to sell me to work with him. Lou Ferrigno, and over there, who knows the older, look, you never know where to move on this thing. Okay, there. Okay, that's Brian Tracy, right? Like Brian Tracy, he wrote Eat That Frog. He wrote how many books? 100-something books. Like, he doesn't have to convince you. So let's write a note down. Selling, as we get into the strategies, selling is about your own success and your own authority and credibility. Authority and credibility. And a lot of you, let's rate. Okay, let me take this down a minute. Let me take this down a minute. Rate right now for me in the chat bar. Rate right now for me 10 being incredible, 1 being almost non-existent, how much are you building your personal authority and credibility? Come on, give me a number. There's no judgments here. I don't care if it's a 1 or an 8. Now, your success, your future success is based on your personal credibility and authority. You know why? Everybody runs towards the expert. You get it? If there's me and then there's someone else, and they're going to run towards me if they feel I have that success and skills. So it is a competitive advantage for you guys to be building your credibility and authority. Now, why is sales so important now? Well, I mean, let's look at a couple things that are happening here. One of the things that are happening for economic fears and confusion. Okay, well, let's look at it, Bill. Are bank repossessions, are they increasing or decreasing? Tell me in the chat bar. Are repos increasing or decreasing? They're increasing. That means we have to figure this out. Commercial Chapter 11 filings, bankruptcies, increasing or decreasing? What do you think? Right? What about job losses? People losing their job. Increasing or decreasing? Increasing. Right now. Right now it's increasing. I got people right now telling me, I just had a friend of mine the other day say, I just purged 10 people out of my company. 10. I said, well, and I'll share. Do you guys want to hear what my wife and I were talking about while we were bike riding this morning? Do you want to hear that? Does anybody live at the Jersey Shore? We were bike riding down here. And my wife and I, Jim, said this. We said, you know what? During great economic times, you look away. You don't see what's happening in your company. During tight economic times, you look very closely. Is that true? Tell me if it's true in the chat bar. And when you look close, you become awakened to what you'll settle for. You become awakened for what you'll settle for. And all of a sudden, so my friend says, I released 10 people the other day. 10. And I was like, okay, well, that's good. But like, what were you doing to ignore all 10? I know what it was. I was fat on my business. Things were going, and I was focusing on what was good, ignoring what was bad. I just didn't want to deal with it. But now he has to deal with it because every one of you, write this down, with sales, with operations, with marketing, you want to build a springboard. That's what you're doing. Right now, we are in a state of this, pulling back the bow, pulling back the bow. And we want to hold for the right timing and let it go. That's why when I hear people, they're like, I am working on scaling my company like mad right now. I said, okay, if we were partners, I'd be telling you don't do that. I would not be telling you to scale like that. I would be telling you, prepare, hold. Because have any of you ever scaled yourself into a state of destruction? Tell me in the chat bar. Yeah, or raise a hand. Did you ever scale so fast the wheels fell off? Thank you, Jonathan. Me too, right? You look around, you're like, oh my goodness, I have one wheel left and we're wobbling into the woods. So right now is not a time, which is sales increases the profitability. And just so you guys know, my belief is every one of you can create more sales, higher conversion, more profit just by doing what you're doing better or different. True? Give me a true in the chat bar. Yes? True? Okay. The other thing is interest rates. Like, do you see them coming down tomorrow? Like, are they going to come down to 2% tomorrow? What do you think's going to happen with it? No. Now, I don't get frustrated over the numbers because everybody knows interest rate. I mean, was there ever a time, Judy, well, Judy, I do think 2% will come back, but you're way smarter than me at this. But I got a question for you, Judy. Interest rates became a big problem for those that need money, not so much of a problem for those that have money. Is that correct? I hope I'm not talking out of turn. See, when you have money, interest rates, not a big problem. My son and I and my wife were looking for some property. I'm like, make sure you tell the realtor. We don't have to wait for no money. We don't have to wait for that. Why? Because when you know there's interest is always it's always going to go up. Inflation's always going to go up. Inflation's always going to come down. It's a moving target. And if you know that things are a moving target, doesn't it mean you should be prepared? Yes or no? Now, I'm not saying this to upset you because you weren't prepared. I'm saying there's going to be recessions. There's going to be depressions. We're going to deal with it. What you do now prepares you for what to come. Sounds pretty logical, but it's only logical because you heard it now. And the other thing is rapid technology. Is technology reshaping the world today? Yes. Is it reshaping it? I took, Jim and Jonathan, I got this thing. Let's just for protection say I got something from a company, from a PE company for protection. And I won't share the name of the company. And I got this report that's saying they're reallocating stock units, all this fancy stuff. Some of you don't get confused by it. But, when every one of your companies has a certain amount of stock units and it's got a value and they're going to buy it and reduce it. And I don't even understand half the language. You know what I did, Danielle? I threw it right in the AI program and said, can you make this like a 5-year-old can understand it? The thing pumped it right out. ... And I was like, oh, like that's technology. You know what else I did? Jonathan, this is great. Why our fractional CFO is going through our P&L and going through our monthly. I'm throwing it in an AI program and saying, okay, so does this sound like action steps? And the machine's telling me every action to take. Now, you know what that says? Tell me in the chat bar, what's going to be non-extinct in the next couple of years? What do you think is going to be? It's not going to exist. Do you think you're going to need bookkeepers? Are you going to need accountants? Are you going to need what are you no longer going to need as a human? You're just going to get. Think about it. But here's the one thing that won't go away that we're going to need, Andrew. First off, highly intelligent people, highly intelligent, that have critical thinking. Is critical thinking up or down right now? Tell me in the chat bar. All of this is to tee up a stage just for the sales stuff that we're going to talk about. Critical thinking is down. So what I want you to do now, sales, if you understand critical thinking versus fancy phrases and scripts, are you able to make more sales with critical and tactical thinking than fancy phrases? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Of course you can. Of course you can. Because without critical thinking, you don't even know the journey. Can you guys write down customer journey? Customer journey. Now, the part of any sales process, Sean, is people are confused when the customer journey happens. When does the sales process happen? What do you think? Type in the chat bar. When does that process start? One of my biggest pet peeves, because I've been around so many people and influencers and all these gurus, excuse me, they always go and they want to teach sales to people. My number one thing I have to ask you about sales is this, and I want you to write it down. Do you know your avatar? And is it the avatar that's going to buy your stuff? Those two things start to fix it. So I go and someone wants to come and teach my company sales, and I go, okay, oh, I got a process and the process does this, this, this. I said, does the process work for Walmart customers? Oh, no. So why didn't you ask me the type of customer I have? Now I'm not saying Walmart customers are bad. I'm not. That's a model. There's a certain buyer for Walmart there's a certain buyer for the Ritz-Carlton. Are you tracking? Tell me tracking in the chat bar. Are we tracking? Now, if you don't know the avatar and you don't know if that's the right avatar for what you want, then you're constantly going to struggle because you're talking to everyone, which is talking to no one. You should write that down, everyone. If you're trying to talk to everyone, you're talking to no one. For instance, when I was doing CEO Warrior and I'm talking for a contractor, I'm looking for someone that's doing 1 to 5 million. Why? Well, because under $1 million, and I don't mean to offend anyone here, like it's hard to find, like you don't even know quite how to find your own ass at that moment, right? Under $1 million, you're like in war every day. Is that true? Type in true. Like under $1 million, you're fist fighting every day. You're trying to chase the next thing, figure out the next SOP. Is it the right software? 1 to 5 million, you got some ground under your feet, right? But you don't know how to climb a mountain. You just know how to stand. The second thing is like Avatar, and I'm talking about the company I sold in 2020. You want to understand, like I wanted married people. Why? Well, because the Lone Ranger is tough to control alone. Like he's just a rebel. If it's just a single guy that owns $1 million company, he's driving a Corvette and he's going to bed way too late. Do you get it? Type in get it in the chat bar, right? I want married. I want him to have children. Why do I want him to have children? What do you think? You know why I want him to have children, Jonathan? Because they're driven for more than just their relationship. They're driven now to serve someone else. Who has kids? Hands up if you have kids. Okay, it's a driving force, right? So the more detailed you get. Now, I could go down. I wanted people that also liked sports, MMA. They want to watch Cobra Kai. Why? Well, because I'm a naturally intense guy. And if they're looking for someone who's very zen, like, okay, everybody. Now, I do have a Zen bell over here. So, right? I have a Zen bell. But if I ring it and we're like, everybody breathe. Let's talk about sales. Like, that might be good for some. But for me, that's not who I am. It's not going to get the job done. So you have to have the avatar. And if your conversion rate, do you guys all know what conversion is? Let me summarize it. I never want to, I never, Bob, want to assume people understand anything I'm saying. So all of you have permission, like don't ever let me run past a word. At one time, probably 25 years ago, someone said the term ROI. And I was like, I didn't even know what it was. So I was like, hey, what's ROI? And they were like, return on investment. And I'm like, well, why didn't you just say return on investment? And the person next to me said they wanted to sound effing cool. So they said ROI. So I was like, well, okay, now I know what it is, but I didn't know. I didn't know. Always when I talk about ROI, I should give you the other two. There's ROI, there's ROT. Some of you that have been in my world, what's a ROT? Tell me in the chat bar. What's a ROT? Return on time. There you go, Chris. And there's ROS. What's ROS? Everybody tell me. What's ROS? Scalability. Return on scalability. Because if you get a return on investment, what if the return on investment's the day you die? Like, do any of you want that? Like, that doesn't sound great to me. You know what a return on investment is? Your life insurance policy is a return on investment. It just pays itself out when you're dead. Like, that's good for others. It's not good for me. Return on scalability is what I want from you here today because I want you to get, you're spending time with me. It's going to be easy to get the return on investment because you didn't pay anything for it here. And scalability is when I put it in place, can it keep scaling and quickly? That's what we want. So let's pause 1 minute. Tell me in the chat bar, give me a big insight. Look at your notes real quick and type in an insight you took away from this so far. Yeah, Chris, importance of avatar. If you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. Some of you are talking to people who can't even buy your product. Well, that's good for serving, hard for living. Okay. Direction. Yes. What else we got here? What you do now prepares you for what is to come. 100%. You have to have the avatar that will buy your product, right? And you have to talk to the avatar. Sales, the journey, customer journey, Judy, starts in the marketing. People think it starts at the phone call, the door, the content. It starts in the marketing. If your marketing is good and your process of marketing is good and you're talking to the right avatar, you don't need sales voodoo. You just need to deliver on the amazing product. Have this ever happened to any of you? Probably not. It's probably everybody who didn't show up. So let's talk about them. Did you ever make the same amount of sales per year in your business? Like maybe 1 million, 1,000,001, 900, 1 million. Has that ever happened? Tell me in the chat bar. Yes. Has it ever happened? Hey, and some of you that joined, Katrina, hey, how are you tonight? Nice to see you. Thomas, hey, nice to see you guys. And if anybody wants to invite someone else, we'll put the link there. Feel free to invite somebody else. Okay. So, and what was I just talking about? I was saying hello to people and I forgot what I was saying. Someone remind me in the chat bar now. It was really important. What was I saying here? Lori, what was I saying? Oh, same sales. Thank you, Andrew. So when I was coaching 1,000 companies, the guy gets done, Jim, tell me, I am the best in the world at what I do. I said, oh, you're the best plumber in the world? I'm one of the best in the world, okay? I've been doing it. They always tell you, I'm doing it 50 years. I'm like, okay, so you're the best because you're getting old. He's no, I'm the best. I said, okay, what are your sales? He says, we'll do over 1 million a year. I said, what'd you do last year? Same thing, about 1 million a year. What do you think you'll do this year? About the same thing. And this is where I don't make a lot of friends, Bob. I said, okay, so you pretty much suck at what you do. He's like, what do you mean? I said, well, pause a minute before you try to beat me up, please. Okay. Isn't a byproduct of doing amazing work over and over that people would refer you and your company would just grow year by year by year as a byproduct of doing a great job? Judy, yes, correct? Right. And then he pauses and says, tell me more. I said, well, here's the thing. You've been telling yourself you're so good, but you're telling yourself you're so good, but other people may not see that. And they may not even be telling people. And he goes, well, we're by referral only. Okay, but then how many are they referring? You see? So part of this process, if we do really good in the marketing, the messaging, the referraling, whatever it is, you don't even need anything else. Sales gets made by itself. If people say yes, people say yes. And when you have such a valuable service, I'll share a phrase that I've been sharing for 18 years. You know what I've been saying, Dave Dolick, for 18 years? Look, I'm not here to sell you anything. It's the #1 reason why people buy from us, because I'm just here to serve you. If it makes sense, we'll talk about moving forward. If it doesn't make sense, then we won't. I'm not going to sit. Years ago, I used to fist fight with these people. Do you guys ever heard the term, what'd they call it? Double legger? Do you guys know this term? Two-legger or whatever? What this meant was, Andrew, was, am I using the right phrase? Who's my people in the chat bar? Jonathan, you would know, like a one-legger versus a two-legger sale. Isn't that what they say? It's like the husband and wife has to be there. And I said, why does the husband and wife got to be there? Like, what if just the wife wants to make the decision? So we made a decision. We don't care if it's a one-legger or two-legger. Oh, it's an old school. Yeah, it is a bad way to sound. Show up whoever's there. And I used to tell my team, if the dog answers the door and can communicate, sit at the effing table with the German Shepherd. I don't care what's there. If the 10-year-old can approve the job and got permission, sit with the 10-year-old, approve the job, right? Because we're there to serve with what we have. We're not there to judge with what we have. Type in something you're taking away, everybody. And then I want to dig into some stuff here that we definitely have to tackle. Now, the other thing I want to make sure of, I know I gave you the link for the free book. We'll type it in again. We do have a Facebook group too. So I'd love to make sure you have access to that. If you're not in our free Facebook group, we post stuff in there. There's a bunch of stuff under the files section. You should go in there. The links will be in the chat bar. Just click on free Facebook group. We'll approve you to get in. Now, let me give you how we're going to spend the last of our time here. The one thing we're going to go into is I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about the sales gap, a little bit about SWOT. I'm going to talk a little bit about over-the-top sales system that I did, and we'll see if we get into some things that have helped closing some sales. All right, grab a fresh sheet of paper, please. And first, tell me in the chat bar, what are you most excited about right now? Tell me in the chat bar, like, what's exciting you? Tell me, like, what part have we talked about, covered, that you're just like, I'm really excited? And just so you know, everything I shared with you, if you're a business builder looking to scale, I would imagine you looked at our Speak Your Impact page. Even if you don't want to come, you just said to yourself, that's an amazing page for you to model. So you're welcome, model it. You looked at Venture Velocity, and if you do sell air conditioners, plumbing, coaching, or massage, it doesn't matter. I'd like to think you looked at Venture Velocity page we built and said, I could build a page just like that and make yourself a lot more sales. If you looked at that sheet that I shared where I offered you for $199 to get all of these trainings, you know, I paid over $3.8 million in my own education to date. You looked at that and said, wait a minute, where are you in your company not making something a no-brainer? So tell me, what did you learn from my just presenting what we're extending to you? Tell me in the chat bar. Did you pick up that the landing page was value? Did you pick up that one-page sheet of value was value? Did you pick up that we're giving you all those bonuses for $390-something? This is, now, see, in my company, and I want you to write this down, Jim. In my company, in all of them, I had one rule. And you're going to say, well, why are you teaching it this way? I'll tell you why. Here's the rule that we had, Bob. You cannot use the word sales in the company. Don't use sales. When you use the word sales, people feel like they're the used car salesman, the Hoover vacuum guy. You must use the word serving. That's what we do. I just helped a guy. I was on a podcast, really great guy, great podcast. And I checked in on him today. Like, imagine the guy only knows me a little bit of time, invited me to a podcast. I shared great value. I helped him with something. And then out of the blue, I'm just like, checking on you, man. How you doing? Matt, he's thinking like, what the heck? You just met me. You're checking on me? He says, you helped me so much. I owe you everything. You know what I said to him? Here's what I said to him. Katrina, you owe me nothing. I'm honored to serve. So write down, if you have a culture of selling and not serving, you're pushing away more than you're attracting. Now, I don't know, some of the gurus out there, I won't say his name, but you know who they are. And they probably disagree with me. And they're probably making maybe a ton more sales than me. But I don't have a lot of people out there saying they dislike me. And I feel better when I go to sleep that way. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way? Like, you just want to feel good when you put your head on the pillow? Tell me in the chat bar. All right, let's talk about the sales gap. The sales gap, and I'm going to demonstrate it with my hand because I have specific steps I want to tell you here, Chris, is in sales, it's where you're at and where you want to go. I got to draw. All right, forget it. I got to draw it. You guys knew I was going to draw, right? Jim, did you know I was going to draw? You guys knew I was going to draw. You should have just told me. All right, let me write it on here. Here we go. All right. Now, what I'm going to share with you doesn't matter if you're going to explain it to this people or it's for yourself. Here it is. It's where you're at. It's where you want to go. We're going to call this in sales. Okay? There's a map to get there. Everybody knows this. and Dana, they teach the map. Oh, you know, you got to knock on the door. You got to have a good greet. You have to build rapport. You got to be dressed good, look good, smell good. All right, perfect. But none of that works when you have this. The resistance line. The resistance line. This is, I am giving you right now the secret sauce of all secret sauces that has done 500 million, over 500 million in sales, is that one diagram right there. I'm going to give you the second diagram that's going to close the gap for you. Why? Because everybody who's saying no has a resistance. And it could be marketing. It could be a marketing resistance. Do you realize that a lot of people are doing marketing that collect credit cards that don't even tell people they collect credit cards? They make the assumption. You guys tell me in the chat bar, does every company you know take credit cards? Yes or no? It's no. Not every company takes credit cards. But my wife and I did have, I didn't even share this with my team. Remember, Jen, we were driving by the lemonade stand. And Mary, guess what the little girl said? Lemonade. And we take Venmo. And I was like, holy crap, 8 years old, you're taking Venmo? There's 50 years old people that don't even know how to take a check still, right? I'm like, man, what a world we're in today. The 8-year-old's taking Venmo. That was really great. But if you go to the resistance line, where is your resistance in sales? Is it you don't have a package? Could that be it? Could it be you're not answering the question inside their mind? Like they're thinking, what's my guarantee? And instead of you saying, Andrew, well, hey, let me let you know, one thing about our blinds is they're guaranteed for life. If it breaks, snaps, falls, chips, you don't like it no more, like we guarantee it. I just want to get that right out because a lot of people don't have that. The other thing is I want to let you know is if you like to get points on Amex, we take Amex. A lot of people not saying that. Now, 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, everybody used to put it in their marketing. And then they started taking it out, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. And I remember doing Yellow Page ads. Now, I did over $2 million a year between Super Pages and Yellow Book and local Yellow Pages. And I remember saying, you know what? I'm going to put the icons in there. I'm going to tell everybody not only what we do, how you can pay us for what we do. What happened to our sales? Tell me in the chat bar. Went up. It went up. We answered the questions. Then I said this, well, what's the next resistance line? Well, what if they don't have credit card and they don't have cash? Is this a resistance? Everybody type in yes in the chat bar. Yes? Yeah? Christine? Yes? Sean? Yes? Yeah, it's a resistance. So guess what we said? We added those icons. And the next time we went Yellow Pages, we said, we also have financing. And what did I share with you tonight? I don't want to let anybody down. If you're willing to pay something, I'll work it out for you to training. You want to pay, it's 300 and whatever, $78. I don't even know the number. Put the link again in there. If you want to pay $1 for 378 days, because you like, and all of you could pay $1, I'm sure, because I could go find a couple tin cans and sell it for $1. You guys get that, right? But if you needed to do that, well, hey, if I could afford it, then I'm going to do it for you. So now you just learned the resistance. What's the other resistance? I'm talking everybody instead of the person. Avatar. So I'm not talking to the avatar. Is that a resistance? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat bar. It's a resistance, right? Then there's hidden resistances that you haven't even identified. Since I taught over 1,000 business owners, and I'm pretty sure in the service industry, I created more decamillionaires than anybody on the planet in the service industry because I created a movement. I was watching, now I didn't coach the people I was coaching. I told them, don't do this. I'll tell you why. And if it doesn't make sense, do it. I was watching a whole lot of people decorating trucks, Jonathan, and putting up a dog on the truck. Now, who's a dog lover? Raise your hand. Who's a cat lover? Raise your hand. Okay. Who's a cat and dog lover? Raise your hand. Okay, but not all of you. Not all of you, correct? Some of you are like, I don't like dogs walking around. They pick up their leg. I only like cats because they squat in a kitty litter or something. So if you have a dog on the side of, let's say you see a plumbing company and there's a dog on the side and you don't like dogs, you only like cats, will you call that company? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat bar. You're not calling that company because you're thinking they like dogs and you're allergic to dogs. If you're allergic to cats and there's a cat in your marketing, you're like, oh, I sell jewelry. Don't you like little baby Blue, the cat here? They're like, no, I'm allergic to cats. They move right past you. But I watched people all over the industry. What about the happy family? Okay, without bringing up any wounds, anybody divorced? Raise your hand just a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, Judy's like, yeah, best thing ever. Okay, you have a company that's showing you their whatever product, I don't care, a hair dryer, and they're showing this extremely happy family, and you just got divorced. You're like, I want to buy the hair dryer from the happy family. You're like, F you and your happy family. Don't you know what's going on with me? You don't buy from them. So the resistance is a lot of times what you're doing, you're not asking. Now I'm going to give you a tip of all tips for sales. Sales is not a process to deliver. Write this down. It's a process to evaluate. Now, this goes back every day. Are you getting value? Can you type in value? Is this helpful? Because I'm teaching you the things that I believe are making the biggest difference when I was going from, you know, 1 million to 32 million, you know, and selling companies. So when I was working on my process, someone taught me the emotional state of a human is the driving force to all decisions. Now, I don't know why, when we do sales, not this Thursday, the following Thursday, I'm going to teach you the emotional wheel and how to look at the emotional state of you, the salesperson, the environment, and how to leverage emotional states. So someone told me, people don't, it's not the mind that buys, it's the emotion. So when I was learning, and I built something called Road Warrior, originally it was called Over the Top. And I just bought a uniform to wear because I wanted to raise the, you know, the perception of the company. And I figured if I'm going to ask my 2 electricians I have to put on a white button-down shirt, black pants, black belt, black boots, and look good, smell good, and act good, I better be able to, Judy, do it myself. So I got all dressed up and I had my ID badge for protection for the customer, my business card, and I knocked on the door. And this is, if any of you, how many of you are married? Give me, or in a relationship? Okay, so if you role played, wait, I got to frame this. If you role played sales, okay, sorry, Danielle, I had to correct that. If you role played sales, would you be good doing it with your partner, or it would just be like freaky weird? They would, you know, make you show. What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat bar. It'd be interesting, right? Guess what? I'm telling my wife, you're the customer. You're the customer. I'm going to knock on the door. You answer the door. This is how I got the process. So knocked on the door. My wife answered the door. And Christine, I went like this. Hi, I'm Mike from Gold Medal Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric. Nice to meet you. And she goes, I'm not going to touch your hand. Do you think I want to shake the electrician's hand? And I was like, really? Why? She goes, I don't even know you. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's bad. That's not a good process. If my wife is saying that, then others are going to say that. Does that make sense? Type in makes sense, right? So guess what I do? Bob, I think about I go, okay, I got an idea. I'm going to do this. Hey, I'd knock on the door, answer. Hi, I'm Mike from Gold Medal, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric. Hey, here's my ID badge. Nice to meet you. Would it be okay if I enter? She goes, enter. Now, as I start doing calls and running these, and it doesn't matter if you're doing in-home, phone, it's all the same shit. I start walking around with a customer and the customer keeps going like this, doesn't have good eyes, and keeps leaning in real creepy close to me, Judy, and looking at my chest. And I'm thinking, what? I'm going to get murdered here. And I'm like, ma'am, is everything okay? She's like, I forgot your name. I'm trying to see it on your badge. And I was like, oh, it's Mike. So now I want to give you the steps of resistance I solved. So if anything tonight when we're done, you leave and go, let me examine the resistance and the emotions. So I got it. This is what I'm going to do, Judy. When I knock on the door, Bob, I'm going to say, hi, I'm Mike from Gold Medal Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric. Nice to meet you. Here's my business card with my name on it. And she takes the card. Now, guess what I watch on all the calls when I'm walking through someone's house? I'm watching because I'm I'm watching it. They grab the card and they go, Mike, I have a question. They keep looking at the card to be reminded of my name. Answer me this in the chat bar. Did I solve resistance? Yes. And then I hired someone, which all of you that have a business, do this today. Hire one of your friends. Say, I want you to mystery shop my company. I should see. Oh, that'd be good. Hey, Megan, send me a note. Send me a note and say, find your old mystery shop report. Okay, Megan, send that to me and I'll find it and I'll share that, not this Thursday, the next Thursday when I do sales. Would that be helpful? You guys type in helpful. I'll share you the mystery shop sheet that, guess what I did? I paid my family to do the mystery shop. I said, I'll give you $50. I'll set up a call. They won't know who you are. You fill out this report. It will take you 30 minutes. I'll pay you $50. And then when they're gone, you just do this. And guess what one of the things was, Danielle? One of the things was trying to get the person to do side work. Hey, they used to go like this, you know, gold medals, pretty expensive. Would you do this on the side for me? And then what I would do is after I got the report, when I knew a guy said, no, listen, my job's way more important here than making 50 extra bucks or $100 from you on the side. I then would go to that guy and say, you turn down side work, and I would give that guy an incentive and thank him for his loyalty in front of the whole company. Okay, is that value? Type in value in the chat bar, right? But even if you sell something over the phone, over the internet, I don't care if they buy a bottle of oil or water, you have to have somebody. Now, here's number 2 of the process. 1 is questions. Number 2 is when you saw the marketing ad on Facebook. Ready, Bill? How did you feel? What did you do? How did you feel? What did you do? When you got the email saying we were coming to your house, how did you feel? What did you do? When the person got on Zoom with you and said, hi, I'm so-and-so, how did you feel? What did you do? Now, when I knew how they felt and what they thought of doing, it told me every piece of resistance in the serving process. Do you guys get it? Are you getting this? Like, I wish somebody told, if I knew this 20 years ago, I wouldn't have grown to 32 million. I would have grown to 232 million. But I knew it later, which made me improve. But man, I could have, the first 5 years, I didn't know all this stuff. I learned it by paying a lot of people a lot of money to learn it, which I'm not complaining, guys. I paid 3.8 million in education. I did over 500 million sales. Pretty good deal. What do you guys think? Type in deal in the chat bar. Pretty good deal. Like if I told you I'll give you 500 million in sales, get 3.8 million, you would find a way to get 3.8 million. Every single one of you would do this. Okay, so that's the number 1 thing is the resistance line on the gap. Tell me what's your biggest takeaway on that. Hey, Art, super nice to see you tonight. What's your biggest takeaway from that resistance? Tell me an action item you're going to take. There's got to be transformation tonight, guys. I don't want, if this is a social gathering, you could have hung out and watched Game of Thrones on Netflix. I don't want this can't be a social gathering. I'm known, for those of you that are new, teach a strategy, transform your thinking, leave with an action, execute, get results. You'll want to come back. You'll want to do more. Okay. Okay. I have to make sure I'm talking to my avatar. Yes, Mary, beautiful. Tell your customers what you do. Don't assume. Yes. Mystery shop. Mary, I saw that you did like a fair or something. Looked like you had some kind of widget in a little purple or blue bag to give out. And I'll share something. Just so you guys know, in sales, people like choices. Write that down. Don't look at me. Write it down, everybody. Write it down. People want choices. What did I give you today? First, did I give you free value? Yeah, I gave you a free book, the ability to go in a Facebook group. I gave you that. Not by a strategy, because I want to give you massive value, because I don't want you to leave the same. I want you to leave change. Number two, did I offer you something, a VIP experience? Those events in person are VIP level. It's only 30 people with me and my team for multiple days in a house to transform. Like those of you that are come to Venture Velocity, you will leave with a plan to do $0 partnerships with people, take ownership in company for $0, not have to lick stamps, not have to have 50 employees, not to own any trucks and have insurance, and make millions of dollars in exits in the future. Okay, that's a VIP experience. I'm teaching everything I'm doing today to build a $500 million portfolio. Now, that may not be a fit for some of you VIP. You're not there yet. So what do I have for you? Speaker impact. If you're telling me you want to change the world and you can't even show up on Zoom with power and strength and focus, speaker impact's not like, oh, when you're on stage, you should turn your hand this way and never put it like this. And definitely don't scratch your ass while you're on stage. It's not that. It's like, how do you show up in your life, in your business, that makes it so compelling, so powerful that people are running to work for you? We have every day, we have people that want to work for us. I'm interviewing a sales guy now. We just hired two other people. We just interviewed another person today. Like, people are running saying, I want to work for you. We just asked the person yesterday, my wife was there listening to it, the sales guy, why do you even want to work here? I can't even, Danielle, I said, I can't even pay you what you want. He's like, okay, I could take less. I'm like, why? He goes, I know being in your world, I'm going to grow, and growing myself is more important for my family than that immediate extra money. You guys should type in boom in the chat bar. That's a big deal right there. So that's speaker impact. But some of you, you don't want to come in person. You don't want to fly. So what did I do? I said, hey, do Rebels and Renegades, which, by the way, I think anybody that's not doing Rebels and Renegades that owns a business, I think it's insane. There is so much value on that. For $397. Just 2 years ago, a training like that is $6,500 I'm charging, and I'm doing it for $300. Chances are I will never do in my lifetime again, because I could help people, but I can't beg them to change their life. Is that fair? Type in fair. Like, I could invite people, but man, I can't grab your hand and make you drink the water. You won't like that. Some people like the significance of struggling. Is that a fair statement? Like, some people love to say, my life sucks, because people go, oh, mine too. Let's complain together. You guys have any family like that? So I offered you Rebels and Renegades. But if that's not good, I'm going to give you whatever 5 or 6 trainings that are over $1,000 for $199. So you can listen to it while you drive, listen with your team, and start changing your life for $199. Okay. What'd you just learn by what I just reviewed with you about people want options of high value that make sense? That makes sense. Just, good insight for me always is there's someone that's buying a bed for $20,000. There's also somebody buying a blow-up mattress to sleep on. It depends on what you want to sell and who you want to sell it to. All right, let's go to the SWOT. And I'm going to give you the SWOT, and then I'll talk about over the top system. We'll get ready to finish it up. So stay a little bit longer here. When we go to the SWOT, which these are old, these are not new skills. I believe they're skills that I bring a different perspective to than most people have done. So if you look at the SWOT analysis here, and you guys draw with me, okay? And you know you have strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Now, these are not all equal. So if you put lines like this, I'm not counting, but if you put 10 lines like this, and you have 1 to 10, 1 to 10, 1 to 10, and I'll write it on the inside, 1 to 10, there's not all equal strengths. There's low-level strengths and high-level strengths. There's low-level weakness and high-level weakness. Most people, when they do SWOT analysis, they put everything as an equal strength, everything is an equal weakness. But that's not, everything's not equal. So when you look at this in sales, you say to yourself, what is one of my strengths? What's a high strength? Like for us, if I look at it for us, what's a high strength for sales? It's brand. Let me change the color on this for you guys. I would put brand, high level strength for us. At Food Dog, even at 3.5 years right now, we have a very strong brand. It stands for quality. What else do you think our brand stands for? Tell me in the chat bar. Does it stand for transformation, caring, serving, change? I mean, we created Deck of Millionaires. Like, so that's a super strength. Well, what's a lower strength? And you might think it's a higher strength, but a lower strength is actually, we do a lot for people. Like we do a lot of trainings for free. It's a strength. Why is it a lower strength? Because really it serves, and it serves you more than it serves us. And we're okay with that, but it's a lower strength. Is this making sense what you have to do on your SWOT analysis for sales? Yes, give me a yes in the chat bar. And I want you to do these two charts. If you just, now you do it, you have your team do it, you have everybody do it. I don't care if it's your HR manager, your accounts receivable, accounts payable person. Where are we at? Where do we want to go? What's the resistance in it? And you could have everybody in your company, just so you know, you could have everybody in your company do a gap analysis about sales and a SWOT analysis about sales. Everybody. I don't care if it's you own a company with a warehouse guy. Have them do a gap analysis, teach them it, and say, get back to me with it. What are the steps we got to do? What's the resistance we're dealing with? Give me the top 3 things we should do in the company. Do a SWOT analysis. What's the strength on the low, the strength on the top? Take me the top 3 things after doing that we should consider doing different in the future. Okay, can I get a boom for that? Or you want to give me a boom? I'm okay if you give me a boom there. All right, let's cover this last thing. We'll tie a ribbon around this. We're going to get you out of here tonight. My hopes are that you got massive, so much value that you're like, if I got this much value, you're going to show up tomorrow for the marketing on Rebels and Renegades, next week for the sales, and hopefully some of you, you'll take advantage of that package we built for you guys. Okay. So last part that I want to cover is let's go back to customer journey, which I called over the top. Do any of you know why I called it over the top? See if any of you want to guess why I called it over the top. How I even came up with the name. Let's see. I wonder if anybody knows. It's a little bit of an older school term. Judy, do you know it? Anybody? Mountain? No. Jim? Do you guys, wasn't the movie with Sylvester Stallone with the, wasn't that called Over the Top? Right? Yeah. Bob's saying it. So I was building this process, and Bob, I was like, what am I going to call these? If those of you don't know the movie, Michael, find, type in Over the Top and see if you find a short little video and put the YouTube link to me where he's arm wrestling. There might be a little clip. I want to play it. But I was watching that and I was like, I'm going to build a process and I need a name for it. What am I going to do? over the top. You have to build muscle and strength, and you have to have the confidence and certainty. Can you write down massive sales equals massive certainty? Massive sales equals massive certainty. If you don't have certainty, you're not even, if you don't have certainty, I was telling you, you should be applying for Speaker Impact. I will make sure you leave with certainty. Like, you'll carry your car, the plane home to your family. I have to prepare you even how to go back home. So if you don't have certainty, think about Speaker Impact. All right. So that's how I came up with over the top. I evaluated over the top. I learned something probably over 2.5 decades ago. It's called lean manufacturing. Lean manufacturing. If you don't know what lean manufacturing is, lean manufacturing is the art. Let me see what my son sent here. It's the art.
If you're a web designer, here are
just ignore this a minute.
Studio features you gotta know.
Oh, that was good. Features you got to know was the thing that said it there. All right, let me share this video and then I'll go back to lean manufacturing. Ready? We'll see what this video is. This is over the top. We're not going to watch the whole thing for time, but you could go watch the movie.
Challenger, Lincoln Hawk, the man who surprised everybody here today.
Look at how young he is.
He has come out of absolutely nowhere to be in the finals with Bull Hurley.
Right, there you go. Gotta love Sylvester Stallone. He's always got that lip thing going, right? What an amazing story he is. All right, let's go back to lean manufacturing. Anybody that owns a company, let me just show you how to scale it, make a lot of money, and optimize. With winter coming, every one of you should be optimizing everything right now. In lean manufacturing, I'm going to teach you the way I was taught, but also how I apply it in all our portfolio companies and every company that we're in today. Is you look at it as a conveyor belt like this. Now, I wired a lot of conveyor belts. Anybody else do wiring in factories? I wired conveyor belts with what's called proximity switches and banner eyes, and they tell you when, you know, the bottle comes down and the bottle gets a sticker and where the bottle goes. So I have a lot of experience physically wiring these machines, examining them. And then lean manufacturing is, let's look at the process. The process is like what? It's a marketing message. And then what happens next? And there's all these steps here, guys. Like, you know, people ring the phone and then the phone is answered and then people say yes. And then we take an order and we collect a credit card and we send someone either to your house, or we call the company and say, ship the product. Or so there's this conveyor belt of lean manufacturing. And that's how I built over the top. I said to myself, step one, what is every action step that has to happen to take someone from the very first I see you to the completion of thank you to the next step is I'll tell others about you. I just gave you magic there. You're probably going to want to get the recording of this, right? Which if you're Rebels Renegades or you get that package, you'll get the recording. When they're done, they're not done. They're done, they say thank you. And then it's about telling someone about you. So that was step one. I had to do every piece. I hate to burst your bubble. Most of you on here are never going to do that. I'm sorry. But you should do it because it will change your life if you do it. Every part of it. Number two, guess what I did? I applied what I taught you. The emotional feeling, Judy, along every step. How do I want them to feel when they see it? How do I want them to feel when they place the order? How do I want them to feel when they open the package? Who's an Apple user? Give me a hand up. Apple user? Okay. Andrew, maybe not you. How many of you, tell me how many Apple boxes you guys have in your closet. Come on. Who's got like 40 of them? Anybody? Like, how many iPhone boxes do you have? No, Andrew, Andrew McDonald is like, nah, I throw them out. I bet your dad saves all of them. He probably has like he probably dates them or something. Right? But like, okay, a lot of you 0. Mary's got 3. I'm sure I got a couple. Why? That box. How do you feel? You don't, if you opened up an iPhone like this, I don't know what this is. This is one of the newer ones, but it's not like the new one. If I open this and it was, Judy, in a plastic bag, you know, the one with the little things, you tear it, like it was a piece of candy and I took it out, it wouldn't matter. This is $1,000 or more phone. I would think it's a piece of shit. But they put it in a really white box. White, stand for dirty or clean? Clean, like surgery, like a hospital gown or a doctor's gown. There you go. Look, Judy just puts them around our house, like decor, and shows people it, right? So, you know, this here is, how do I want them to feel when they get it? How do I want them to feel? So when, I'll give you one step that I used to do. Okay, last sales step, because we got to finish up. I'm running late, but I want to keep giving you and exceed your expectations, because in sales, you don't want to meet expectations. You want to exceed it. You should write that down. Sales is about helping people visualize the future that they're going to feel. So here's what I used to do. Now, does anybody do plumbing or electrical or HVAC or anything? Hand up. Anybody? Okay, couple of you. Okay. So when I would go in someone's house and they would say, oh, I need a receptacle fixed in the bedroom, I'd go, okay, here. I would say, hey, I'm kind of surprised, Judy, I don't see any lighting or fans in here. Was there a reason you never put anything in the ceiling? And they would go, well, I didn't even know it was possible. And I was like, well, could you see yourself, Judy, I said, could you see yourself in this room with a fan that would circulate the air during the summer and winter? It would save you money. It would make pretty close to the perfect temperature you desire. And could you see yourself dimming some lights and sitting in that chair over there in the corner, reading your best book, or maybe listening to a great video on your phone? And how would you feel if the environment had that in it? And they would go, you can do that? I go, of course we could do that. Of course we could. How would you like to turn it on? Would you like to do it right next to your bed, so when it's time to sleep, you don't have to walk from there to there? You could dim the lights, turn it on, but you could locate it from both locations. You could do that. When would you like me to do it? They were so engulfed in the feeling. And by the way, if we're going to make this look good and feel good, can you imagine what we could do in your backyard? I mean, how would you like your house to look when you pull up at night? Would you like it to look dark and scary, or lit up like the Ritz-Carlton, like something that every neighbor would want to try to match what you're doing? And they would say, what? Yes. Right? So people need to feel the emotion that they're going to have. Same thing for us. I want you to feel, when you apply these sales strategies, what's going to improve for you, your company, your team. Because if people can't feel the future they're going to go into, well, then it doesn't make any sense for it. Same thing for speaker impact. If you don't feel you're going to be impacted in a way you've been waiting the last 3 decades of your life to change, you've been waiting to be ignited, you've been waiting to create impact in the world. Well, if you could feel what it's going to be like a couple days at the Jersey Shore with no one tugging at you, no one bothering you, giving yourself the gift of that change, well, then you'll say, I'm going to fill out the form and let's do it. Okay. Let's do this. We're going to finish it up. Tell me in the chat bar, look through your notes and give me your top 3 biggest breakthroughs from this training. Do it now.